Hey, Disturbing listeners, Single Life. Let's watch.
Dish and I spent the last few days together, and I wanted our last morning to be romantic. But now he has to leave because of his work.
Hey, you.
All right, so if her presentation on the show is any indication of her personality, in all likelihood, because of her attachment insecurities, which I think is natural, I think given her speculated history and early childhood traumas, she will have a hard time with this situation, that she will feel a lot of sadness and loss and abandonment, which is okay. And she is saying that it's their last morning together, I think because she might have to fly home. I think she was coming to LA for a few days, and so they've had that time together. And I've been worried because she opened herself up to him emotionally and physically pretty quickly, and I was concerned, given her behavior with Josh and also just her behavior in general, that she could become quite triggered, because there's a possibility that the only way for her not to get severely triggered, not just kind of triggered, but severely triggered, the only way to avoid it is if she had him 100% of the time and there was no separation. She could literally be put into a suitcase or a briefcase, and he could bring her with him to work, that kind of thing. And that's not irrational, especially when you're falling in love, which I think she might be doing. I'm not sure. At least she seems to really like him. This could be the first time she's felt feelings like this since Mike, and that was years ago when she met Mike, right? So, she's opening up, and he's now going to go to work, and so she's already giving him the cold shoulder. I don't know, maybe she'll warm up a little bit.
Come on.
Don't touch me.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
All right, it's hard to know what was going on right there. Of course, if she doesn't want to be touched, that's fine. But I think he's trying to have a gesture of like, hey, let's bond, or let's have a moment before I say goodbye. And she's being rejecting or closed off, and he says, oh, no, which makes me wonder if he knows this pattern.
Yes. I don't feel like I have enough of him, and I just need more of him, more time together, and I don't have it.
Yeah, she says that in kind of an interesting tone, right? Kind of naive or childish, right? Like, what? Confused. Like, I mean, it's not this, but if she were an alien from outer, she's not an alien, but if an alien did come from outer space and they felt love for the first time, they'd be like, I don't understand, I don't have it. Why doesn't he stay indefinitely? I don't understand why he has to go to work. I'm not mocking her, but that kind of tone, which I think derives from, I think it's truthful. I think she's being authentic right now. She wants him all the time. She doesn't want him to leave. He's going to work, and she doesn't want that. And she wants him. She wants it all the time, which is normal. When you have abandonment traumas early in life, you have the primordial need that all children have to have that all-encompassing love and attention. When we're 0 to 2 years of age, hopefully we have our caregivers or caregiver, we have them almost all the time. When we go to sleep, they're putting us to bed and we're falling off to sleep. When we wake up and indicate that we're awake, our caregiver comes to us. When we're hungry, they feed us. When we're sad, they're there for us. When we want to play, they're there. When we want to do eye contact and vocalizations, they're there. They pay attention to us. They're there all the time. That's what we need as humans. We need that, a lot of that in the beginning, and decreasing over time if we get enough of it early in life. If we get enough of it early in life, then we can become independent. While I'm on that topic, there's an American notion that if you do that to a child, you will make them dependent. If you give that young infant too much attention and you are there to meet their every whim, they will turn into a mama's boy or this kind of thing, which it's the opposite. And that thinking is what led to a lot of attachment injury in our society, but particularly in the past, because psychology hadn't recognized attachment until John Bowlby and others had done research and figured it out. John Bowlby himself, the originator of attachment theory, was raised in aristocracy in UK, and the aristocracy, and to some extent still, will send their children off to boarding schools and have nannies raise the children, because to parent your child is to kind of lower yourself, to breastfeed your child or to play with your child with toys is to be low class. That's what lower class people do. Rich people, we understand that we don't want to do that. We'd rather do other things. Also, we want to create proper children that understand that no one will be there for them, that kind of thing. And so John Bowlby grew up with his main attachment figure, a nanny, a caregiver that was paid for, and that person had quit one day and had moved on to another job, and that devastated him and stuck with him. And when he became a clinician, he started to think about that early experience and also his adult reactivity to people. And he started to do a lot of research, and he actually would go to hospitals where children were left alone. For her, I think, speculation, she had that. So she has that need that was normal when you're 12 months of life, but it was never satisfied enough. And so she manifests that unknowingly to Josh. And unless they have a way of framing that, it'll feel, if he can't do that, it will feel like he's abandoning her, right? In the same way that your infant, a 12-month-old, if you walk out of the room even and you're just going to the bathroom and you're coming back, your infant might completely lose it and melt down because they believe you have abandoned them, because that's how needy they are, which is natural. So I hope that doesn't happen here.
I hope he would commit to me and, we would talk about child. None of that happened.
Yeah, because they've known each other dating-wise, I think, for 3 days. So he doesn't want to talk about having kids yet. Now, a commitment, and I've been saying this from the beginning, even kids, she could say, look, I'm looking for a commitment, and if you don't want a commitment, I don't want to move on with you. Or I'm really hoping you want a commitment because I don't want to be in a relationship where we're in an open dating relationship. You can ask for it. You can't require it of someone. You can ask. It's fine. You can also have that as a deal breaker, but you can't yell at someone for not wanting to do that right away. Also, it's not very prudent when you're dating, particularly in the States. And I was told that people in Ukraine are also open to casual dating. And because I was wondering about that, people from Ukraine commented or emailed in and saying, no, Natalie isn't representative of the common way in which people date. People have some people want to be exclusive right away. A lot of people don't, in a similar way of the United States. So she's particular, I think, in that way. But if she's looking for a partner and she requires exclusivity and commitment and children talk on literally date one, which is, I think, what happened, then there's a chance that you'll come across someone that will be like, oh my God, me too. But most people, they want to take their time before they make those kinds of commitments. And so, she's really shooting herself in the foot in terms of meeting her needs.
With Mike, I neglected my needs and I put him as a priority. And it was a mistake of mine. And I'm not making the same mistake with Josh.
All right. So I don't think she's been to therapy, right? And I think, given what we saw, and I have no idea. I mean, she knows herself better than I know her, but what we saw, that wouldn't be the conclusion I would hope that she would make. So she's saying with Mike, I let go of my needs, and so I'm not going to do that ever again. I would hope that what she would do is have some awareness of her attachment style and her reactivity, because that's really at the core, I think, of her issue, particularly with Josh, but obviously with Mike as well. So it's interesting. I think she might be making the exact opposite of what would be a healthy conclusion. I've talked about this before. When you go through a breakup, it's one of the best times to go to therapy. A lot of people will go to therapy, but most people don't, in my experience. It's a wonderful time because it's hard to break up, even if you're the one breaking up with someone. There's a lot of grief, there's a lot of feelings, there's a lot of transitions, a lot of things to navigate. And it's a wonderful opportunity to review what went wrong and to think about that, to gain some awareness, corrective experiences, knowledge, insight, so that the next time you date, you're set up with meaning and understanding now that's new. And without that sort of guidance, you can come to some destructive conclusions that can make future dating even worse.
Oh, hey. Glad you could join me. I know that it's not the yogurt you like, but it's all they had.
So I don't know. I think what happened right there was she was giving him the cold shoulder, and he was laughing. I don't know if I showed the clip, but he was like, ugh, I think he was exasperated with her. He might even be thinking, really? You're going to go back to Florida, and I'm not going to be exclusive to you, and we'll both date other people, and I won't have to deal with this anymore. I don't know if that's what's happening, but I wouldn't be surprised. Who knows? Maybe he's in it to win it. And he decides to move on with his day in a very differentiated way. He's like, okay, well, you're having a meltdown, not my issue. There's really nothing I did wrong. I think I know what you're doing, but anyway, I'll go on with my day. I'm not going to leave, but I'm going to sit here. And then I think she was continuing to pout, so to speak. And then I imagine the production team actually told her, can you come in here? And then she adopted that smile. That smile had a look to it. Let's rewind that.
Making the same mistake with Josh.
Oh, hey.
I don't know, but it seems like a sarcastic smile or an angry smile. I don't know if I'm just reading into it, but so I think what this means is she's going to let him have it. I think, yikes. Pre-yikes. Put that on a t-shirt.
Glad you could join me. I know that it's not the yogurt you like, but it's all they had. So, but made you a coffee, some fruit.
So he's trying. He knows that if he directly has a conversation, it's probably not going to go well. He's picking up the vibes, and he's seen this vibe before, even though they've only been together for 3 days. So he's trying. He's like, oh, how about you try this? Try to bridge the gap here. Are we okay? I don't know if I'm reading into it.
I feel not comfortable, honestly. I don't feel right. I don't like it.
Natalie does have some insight sometimes and some differentiation. She, I think last episode in the car, said something like, I feel confused. And I was like, yes, stay in that place. It's okay to be confused. Don't make a conclusion. And so right now she's like, I feel uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on. I feel uncomfortable. And if I were there, I'd be like, stay with that. Don't make assumptions. Don't make some leaps, right? Stay with that. And if I could coach Josh on how to react, I would maybe help him to reflect and be like, oh, so you don't feel comfortable. What is, what's going on? And, it'd kind of be a one-directional relationship at that point of him helping her. So I wouldn't want to burden him with that. But as a therapist, I would want to stay in that place. What's the confusion? What's the dialectic going on for you? Because often with people with certain conditions of personality and attachment insecurity, they'll have that confusion at first, and then they will make a choice, and it's almost always in a destructive path. So, because there's another path that she doesn't usually take, which is, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm making something up. Maybe I'm having an imagined threat, not a real threat, right? I think that's the confusion that she's in. Let's see what she does.
I give you my time.
Yeah.
And I like you, and I came here for you, and you don't have time for me. Then we shouldn't do it. You can't make me come here, wait for you. Why? To make me feel lonely, isolated.
Well, that was fast. So when she started off with, I'm confused, I don't think she was actually saying I'm confused. I think she was saying I'm confused with you, or I'm uncomfortable with you. So I was jumping the gun on that. But let's rewind that. So I don't know if I understand the situation right, but at least the way it's being presented, they've had a lovely 3 dates, and he was extremely accommodating to her, and she was accusing him and giving him a lot of hostility for zero reason, and a lot of difficulty when they were meeting up with friends, and standoffishness and poutiness and stuff. And she's doing it again. I think she's flying out. He's going to work today, and he's spending time with her, and he's about to go. This could be a wonderful interaction. And we get here where she accuses him of basically being a sadistic psychopath who strings her along manipulatively. Let's rewind them.
I don't like it. I give you my time,
Yeah.
and I like you, and I came here for you, and you don't have time for me. Then we shouldn't do it. You know, like, you can't make me come here, wait for you. Like, why? To make me feel lonely, isolated.
Sure.
To make me feel lonely and isolated. So she's accusing him of purposely trying to make her feel lonely and isolated, even though I think he's spending all available free time with her for 3 days. He has a job, you know, he has to work. So, and I think he's taken a fair amount of time off of work. I don't know. Anyway, so she's accusing him of that. And yeah, I mean, it's par for the course. It really just breaks my heart for her because he'll bounce back. I don't think he's going to cry himself to sleep tonight. Or maybe he will. It would be hurtful. He comes across like a confident person, but who knows? I mean, he's a human being. He could be really fragile about this, but might not act like it. But at the very least, I think he has the resilience to bounce back a lot faster than she does. And she, her attachment and security, she's just convincing herself of something and then reacting and just sabotaging. I don't know if things would have worked out with Josh. If I was to put money on the line, I'd say probably not, given the long distance nature, given their differences in personality, but maybe. And she didn't wake up this morning and say, I want to ruin things. She's coming from what I believe to be the disorder. I don't know, obviously, I can't diagnose from afar by any means, but it certainly looks like one, right?
I haven't read
Why? I have bad feelings now. A man who doesn't care about my feelings is not my man.
Well, I'm here right now, and I have this time for you.
Good.
And
Enjoy.
Yikes. He's being super differentiated. He's like, well, I'm here right now. It's like a really good thing to say in that moment because there's so many things he could be saying. He could be saying like, what? Why are you angry at me? I have to work today. You always do this. What did I do? You're accusing me that I'm purposely trying to isolate you? I'm going to work. Are you a child? And even if you were, anyway, but you're not. I'm going to work. You're flying out today. I've been spending all this time with you. I'm here now. And you're already accusing me of purposely trying to isolate you and make you feel alone. I'm here. What are you talking? He had every right to say, but he doesn't. He's like, well, I'm here right now. He had every reason to just swipe clean the breakfast table and walk out of the room. Just like, because now I'll hold out for the possibility that I have no idea what's really happening. That she's actually saying stuff to him that I would totally understand if I was there. So I can only comment on what I see. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.